Daboy po ang tawag namin sa anak ko. Si Daboy po ay nagtatrabaho bilang HR sa isang kumpanya. Siya po ay mabait na bata, maasikaso at palakaibigan. Ang hanap buhay ko po ay nagluluto ako ng pagkain para sa isang kantin. Lasimba po si Daboy. Wala pong pinipiling kaibigan at handa siyang tumulong sa kapwa niya. Wala po sa anumang drug watch list ang anak ko. Sa mga kawalang kalaban-laban, wala kaming pag-asa para bang ganun na lang kadali kunin ang buhay ng anak ko.
Ako po si Christine Pascual po. Anak ko po si Joshua, 17 years old po nung napaslang po ng 2018. Si Joshua po, sa lugar po namin, sikat pong isang gamer na bata po. Wala pong hindi nakakakilala sa kanya. Umamin naman po yung pulis sa akin na na-encounter niya po yung anak ko. Nanlaban, may drugs. Hanggang may tumawag po sa akin ng human rights. Dalin mo yung anak mo dito sa Manila. I-autopsy natin si Dr. Porto na mag-autopsy sa kanya. Para pong nalagyan po ng yung sarili ko. Gabi po, di ko alam saan ako maghanap ng pamasahe para lang madala ko po yung anak ko sa PGH. Kasi yun na lang po yung tanging paraan na may lalaban ko yung autopsy niya eh. Hanggang nalaman ko po kay Dr. Porton, merong hemorrhage, may fracture yung anak ko. Lahat po ng proseso sa kaso, nilakad po namin kahit walang pamasahe, sige lang po basta yung proseso ng kapulisan po sinunod namin. Mula Hiyas. Naghihintay po kami ng sagot kasi kumpleto naman po eh. Nagulat na lang po kami, dinismiss po.
Hirap na rin po kami paanong lumaban. Pagdating po doon ilang araw, dismiss na naman po. Paano po kaming hihiling ng hustisya sa ICC? Sana maramdaman niyo po yung bilang isang ina kami, paano naghirap to sa mga pinalaki mong bata ng maayos, di ba po?
Jeepney driver at barker po si Michael. Noong gabi po na yon, nagtatawag siya ng pasahero sa kanto ng Langit Road at Barugo Road sa Barangay 176, Bagong Silang, Caloocan, nang siya ay walang kamuwang-muwang na binaril ng mga lalaking nakariding in tandem. Si Michael ay wala pong kahit anong record sa barangay o kahit saan na gumagamit ng droga. Kahit anong koneksyon sa droga, listahan man o huli o imbitasyon ng mga pulis, wala po. Pero sa lugar namin kung saan ilan na ang winala at pinatay sa buong panahon ng di umano'y giyera kontra droga, nang gabing iyon ay nadagdag si Michael sa napakaraming biktima ng EJK. Sa giyera kontra droga na inilunsad ni dating Pangulong Duterte, hindi po nabawasan ang droga. Tao ang nabawasan kasi po pinagpapatay sila. Hindi nga po namin masabing giyera kasi walang kalaban-laban silang pinapatay. Bakit maraming namatay sa war on drugs ni Duterte pero hindi man lang nagkaroon ng masusing investigasyon noon? Bakit ngayon lang po? Bakit ang nakakasuhan ay mabababang pulis lang?
Salamat, Miss Jane Lee. Alam niyo, unang-una, nabanggit niyo na parang hindi kami nakikipag-unay sa ICC. Wala po kaming pakialam sa ICC. Walang pakialam ang ICC sa komiting ito. Hindi kami kontrolado ng ICC. Independent po itong ating ginagawa dito. At yung ICC, pwede mag-investigate on their own. Pero ayaw namin na gamitin ng ICC itong committee ito para sa kanilang sariling interes.
Mr. Chairman, kung inimbitahan natin lahat ng mga biktima, siguro naman po dapat din lang imbitahan din natin yung mga sinasabi ni General Bayalde last hearing. Yung mga collateral damage, yung mga pulis na namatay din dahil sa operasyon, pati na yung mga pulis na until now wala ding justisya. And well, in fact, I need that report, that document being asked a while ago. Kasi gusto ko makita kung sino mga pulis na namatay din Collateral ba yan? Part ng operation? Or being tagged also as part of the drug syndicate in this country, not only during Duterte's time, even before Duterte.
Hindi alam ng mga resource persons na dapat nandito sila ngayon. Sayang yung oras kasi, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Do you have any interjection, Congressman Carap?
Anyway, this is just all administrative matters, Mr. Chairman. Well, in fact, I have not yet proceeded with regards to documents being requested by this committee during the previous hearing. But, gusto ko lang pong balikan si Colonel Cunanan kasi paiba-ibang sagot mo kanina. Now you have submitted that invitation doon sa kanino? Ano na office? Ba't hindi ka sigurado? Nung tinanong ka kanina, sinagot mo PCDS.
Yes, sir.
Tinanong kita ngayon, parang hindi ka sigurado. Saan mo ba talaga pinadala?
Your Honor, I'm not the signatory of the letter po kasi
Iyon
I
na
just
nga
learned
ang
it's-
problema eh. Kasi tinatanong ka ni Colonel Busita, now Congressman Busita, sinabi mo PCDS, now you're telling us that you're not officially affection signature doon? Ano ba talaga?
It was my boss, sir, who signed the signature towards to the
Eh,
TCDS.
then you produce the document
Yes,
that
sir.
you're telling Congressman Busita.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, better invite in next hearing yung opisina ng PCDS para at least malinaw to. Kaysa naman ngayon, we don't have any conclusion yet. But as per the answer of Colonel Culanan, paiba-iba yung sagot niya. Kaya nakakalito nga. Kaya just to confirm, please submit the document and better invite in the next hearing the PCDS. Now, Mr. Chairman, there are still resource persons that were invited and as of today, they are not present, particularly the former CIDG Police Major General Romeo Karamat, who is present last hearing, now he is not present. Did he confirm? And mayroon ba siyang communication? Why is not present in today's hearing? Wala. So no reply. But he has received.
Yes,
Do you have a received copy for that?
as recent.
Pero sigurado natanggap niya. But no reply. Mr. Chairman, I move that we will issue a show cause order for Police Major General Romeo Karamat for not attending today's hearing without any explanation why she should be cited in contempt, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion. Is there any second to that? Second motion. Okay, been moved seconded.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clear it. It is just a show cause order. Well, in fact, that is not a subpoena. Just a show cause order. Number two, Mr. Chairman, ideya, nandito naman. Si Sojen, former DOJ Secretary, was not present in today's hearing, but he has sent us letter of excuse. Do we have that copy? Can you kindly give the members of this committee so that they will be appraised with regards to the letter explanation of Solgen. The former Solgen, Attorney Jose Caleda, is he present today? We cannot locate Solgen, former Solgen Caleda. Or then better coordinate with Mr. Chairman. I move that the SAA and COMSEC will coordinate with PNP and NBI to once again send the invitation for former Solgen, Attorney Jose Caleda.
There's a motion. Is there any second?
Now next, Mr. Chairman.
No. Okay, no objection? It's approved.
Next, Mr. Chairman, most if not all of the former PNP chief nandito po, si PNP chief, former PNP chief Salinas nandito, si Alvialde nandito. But the one who was invited was former retired Lieutenant General Vicente Danao, former OIC PNP chief, not present today. Do we receive any letter explanation?
Is there any explanation from General Benadanaw?
Hindi na. So, confirm na receive niya, wala. You sent him an email, baka ang email niya, hindi na gumagana yon. Ang question is, do you have a received copy with that email? Wala. Wala. So then, Mr. Chairman, I move that we will issue again an invitation for former OIC PNP Chief, Lieutenant General Vicente Danao, and to be coordinated with the Philippine National Police, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion. No objection. Hereby approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And next is former PDEA Director General Wilkins Villanueva from May 2020 to October 2022. He's the former director of PDEA.
He was present the first hearing. Yes.
He was present the first hearing, but now he's still invited. He's not present. Did he receive the invitation? Do you have a received copy for that? Via email. So, Mr. Chairman, since he was present in the first hearing and now he's absent, I would just like to, Mr. Chairman, to reiterate that he will be sent an invitation for the next hearing. Pwede naman po kasi first hearing nandito siya.
Okay. All
Now,
right.
Okay, that's all for the invitees, Mr. Chairman, who is not present in today's hearing. Now, let me proceed, Mr. Chairman, as part of this administrative work of this committee, Mr. Chairman. Number one, Mr. Chairman, we have sent a letter to Rappler. We have requested Rappler to duly validate the veracity of the news content as cited by Attorney Conte's presentation. Is Attorney Conte present today? And based on the remarks coming from the COMSEC, it was acknowledged by Rappler, but we have not received the answer reply with regards to the validation of that veracity of the news content. Is Rappler present, Mr. Chairman? Wala po.
I don't think so.
So Mr. Chair, are they invited?
Yeah.
Oh, so Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, are they present during the first hearing? No. So Mr. Chairman, since Rappler is present in today's hearing, and they were invited, may I move, Mr. Chairman, that Rappler will be issued a COCOS order to explain why they should not be cited in contempt for not answering the request of this, the invitation of this committee, Mr. Chairman. At the same time, Mr. Chairman, to reiterate the validation of the veracity of the news content cited by Attorney Contes during the first hearing, Mr. Chairman.
So there's a motion,
Invitation ba yan?
invitation to invite
No,
Rappler.
Shokos.
Showcase na.
Shokos.
Second motion.
Okay.
Mr.
Moved and
Chair,
seconded.
Mr. Chair,
No objection.
for clarification.
They were not invited to today's hearing. We just requested the document. So, I will just like to amend my motion, Mr. Chairman. I move that Rappler will be invited into next hearing. At the same time, submit the document being requested being ordered by this committee before the next hearing, Mr. Chairman.
There's
So
a
move, Mr.
motion.
Chairman.
Any second?
Mr. Chair, may I have some clarification? Dun sa Rappler, sino po ba yung pinapa-invite natin?
Anybody that can answer the query in this committee?
Anyone in the Rappler.
On the news item?
Oh, news item.
Okay.
So, any second, please.
Invitation lang.
Motion yun.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion is approved.
Next, with regards to administrative documents being asked by this committee, Mr. Chairman, is the document being requested from the NBI, the data on drug operations which resulted in the deaths during PRRD administration. Ang remarks was only, the letter was acknowledged. Is NBI present today? Do you have the document, sir?
We have the partial report, Mr. Chair.
You have the partial report. Have you
Yes.
submitted that to the committee?
Not yet, Mr. Chair.
So please submit that partial report and then please fully comply on the before the next hearing.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank
Will
you.
comply.
Thank you, Chairman. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, no, not the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 items, Mr. Chairman. Number 1, Mr. Chairman, interim and final report on the internal cleansing program of PNP signed by former PNP Chief General Albayalde. PNP, have you submitted this document? You have acknowledged the letter, but you have not submitted it to this committee.
Mr. Chair, may I ask again on the particular document requested, Mr.
Yung final internal cleansing during the time of General Albayalde. Interim and final report.
I will follow it up, Mr.
You are not present last hearing.
I was present, Mr. Chair.
You were present.
Yes, Mr.
So your staff or you have not taken notes.
I have
on
taken
that
notes,
request.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, please check and
Yes.
please submit it before the next hearing.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And next, Mr. Chairman, PNP pa rin to. A copy of the Memorandum of Understanding signed on July 17 between PNP and CHR. MOU. Mayroon ba kayong copy dyan ngayon?
Mr. Chairman, from Colonel Magsino po from Human Rights Affairs Office of the PNP.
Go ahead, Colonel Magsino.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually upon receipt of
You have
the...
taken your oath, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I don't need for you to discuss about it. I'm just asking that document to be submitted in this committee being required during the last hearing. Did you submit? No.
I have a hard copy of...
Please submit now. Please submit it to the committee. That is the MOU. Tama?
MOU between CHR
And
and...
PNP.
PNP and CR, sir.
Yeah.
NCR. NCRPO.
It's only PNP and NCR.
Yes, sir.
What we are asking is the MOU between PNP and CHR.
And
CHR, Committee on Human Rights.
actually, yung proposed MOU ay ongoing pa, sir, under study pa between CHR and PNP.
What is this signed July 17? Ano yung hawak mo? NCR lang.
NCR, sir.
Draft. And so the MOU is only NCR level,
Yes, sir.
not national level.
No, sir.
Then submit that draft.
Yes, sir.
It was not yet signed.
Signed by the former NCR director and the former chairperson of CHR.
NCR director, sino yon?
Ang nakasulat dito, sir, Police Deputy Director General Reynaldo P. Varilla for NCRPO. And for the chairperson of CHR is Honorable Purificacion C. Kisumbing.
Kailan yan? Please check the date.
September 2007.
That's not the one daw, sabi ni Comsec. It's Colonel Badillo daw that mentioned about it. Is Colonel Badillo present today? Yes,
General Balde is represented by Colonel Magsino, Mr.
but you have take note of that request last hearing.
No, Mr. Chair.
Oh, the representative of Colonel Badillo is present. Sino po yun? Ikaw po. So, you're telling us now that it is an NCR, CHR, NCRP on CHR, MOU. Tama? Please.
Actually, baka nagkamali, sir, yung binanggit ni Brigadier General Baldeo regarding taon. Kasi 17 ang sinabi niya, 2007 naman nandito sa amin, sir.
Anyway, please submit na lang po, no?
Yes, sir.
And Comsec, please check na lang the minutes of the last hearing para malinaw po if it's either NCR or national. Next, Mr. Chairman, PNP pa rin to. All command memorandum circulars and operation of PNP and War on Drugs campaign. Have you submitted? Do you have a copy of that? Generally?
Yes, sir. We have submitted that already, sir.
When? When did you submit it?
Sir, yung,
Wala pa.
Generally, wala pa po. Pag-iano lang, if you have a copy. Yes.
We have a copy, sir. The hard copy which was submitted by Directorate for Operation was forwarded to our Chief PNP for his signature in the endorsement. Pero hanggang ngayon di pa napirmahan. Pero mayroon kaming daladala na hard copy consolidating all the memorandum circular regarding
Pakasabit lang po. But
Yes,
that is
sir.
not yet official. Please tell your PNP chief that he should sign that document. And then bring that document before the next, submit the document before the next hearing.
Is that the same thing that generally? That's the same thing generally is saying?
yes, sir. It's the same, sir.
Oh.
Chairman, kindly, the PNP should submit it today, though it's a draft, just for the guidance of the members of this committee. At the same time, the official document that should be signed by the PNP chief should be submitted before the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, before we start sa mga resource speakers, no?
Sandali, hindi pa ako tapos.
Hindi ko pa tapos, ang
May
haba
dalawa
na
pa.
Okay, Mr. Chair, sorry.
Relax.
Sige, go ahead.
Relax, Gob, relax. Anyway, second to the last na lang po to. PNP inventory of cases filed during the operations on war on drugs campaign. PNP pa rin to. Generally, you have not submitted this inventory of cases filed during the operations on war on drugs campaign.
So, come again, sir.
Inventory of cases filed during the operations on war on drugs campaign.
Sir, that is for the DIDM to comply, sir.
Oh, the IDM.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have it, this report, Mr. Chair.
As you have now in your
We have
possession,
it now, Mr. Chair.
please submit it to this committee.
We will do so, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. Last na lang, Chairman. PNP pa rin to. Data on the 6,252 alleged EJK per region. Have you submitted it?
It's in one report already, Mr. Chair,
So,
along with the...
you have just submitted today or you're
We will
still?
submit now, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
please
We have
submit it now, huh?
We have it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chairman. That's all.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
napansin ko lamang po, no, bago tayo tumungo sa ating mga resource speakers, napansin ko lamang po that those documents that are being asked by this committee, it's either hindi pa nila nasasubmit or isasubmit lang nila today sa hearing. And lost opportunity na po tayo, Mr. Chairman. And that's the reason why we asked that na the last hearing, para at least may mapag-usapan tayo lengthily dito po sa gaganapin nating hearing. And unfortunately, it's either hindi pa nabibigay or ngayon lamang ibibigay. So may we remind the resource speaker na sana po, kapag may mga hiningi kami mga dokumento, submit na 3 days prior to the hearing. And reminding also the COMSEC to remind yung ating pong mga resource speakers to submit it on the rightly time. Para na sa ganun, nababasa po ng mga members. Kasi very crucial po yung mga hiningi natin dokumento. And I believe that one of the documents that were asked, ni-request ko po yan. And that's the reason hindi ko pa alam at kung ano pang itatanong ko. Dahil nakabase po yan dyan. So, sana po ay yun ang gawin ng ating COMSEC and also the resource speakers. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Fernandez. Now, before the interpellations, we'd like to hear our source speakers to give their own statements. We'd like to start with the former ES, Secretary Medeljaya, please.
Morning, sirs. Honorable Bienvenido Abante, Chairperson, Committee on Human Rights. Honorable members of the Committee and House of Representatives, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. I recognize the importance of the efforts being taken by the Honorable Committee. While I may not be the best person to answer questions on the subject matter of this committee, considering my limited capacity as EAS at the time material, I am ready to assist and provide information insofar as the extent of my knowledge and allow disclosures. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, for allowing me to read my statement. Thank you and mabuhay ang mamayang Pilipino.
Thank you, ES. To my colleagues, no, we are going to interpolate after all of the source speakers spoken, okay? So, the second one would like to ask for the statement is our chairperson of the CHR, please, Attorney Palpalatok. Do you have anything to say?
Your Honor, we have already made a statement during the last meeting.
Okay, let's call on the new ones who have invited, no? Who's the next? Why don't we start with the victims, no? So we'll be able to know more, and our resource speakers perhaps could be able to know more about what the victims are trying to say here. So, well, let's start with Attorney Conti, no? Being the lawyer for the victims. Go ahead.
Good morning to the members of the committee. For today, we would like to defer to the victims for their own statements. Today, we brought 3 victims whose kin, husband, son, and minor son have been killed in police operations and vigilante killings. Maybe perhaps we can start with Adalia Cuartero.
First of all, I'd like to find out, Attorney Conti, why only 3? When you have a lot that you're actually speaking of.
Your Honor, we are trying to parse through our membership because not all of the victims would like to come forward.
Are they still afraid to come out?
Yes, Your Honor.
We have already given them the last hearing. Sinabi ko sa kanila na huwag kayong matatakot dito. Kung talagang gusto nyo ng justice, dapat lumabas na kayo. My goodness, how can we have justice here? And kung hindi lumalabas yung mga magulo ng mga biktima natin. That's the reason why nahihirapan ang mga kapulisan natin. At sinasabi nila, ayaw nilang bisigahan to. Now, again, let me say, Attorney Conti, no, we would like to ask the parents of the victims to come out. Wala silang dapat ikaba dito. Palagay ko naman itong ating mga Philippine National Police, may compassion naman to, mga tao naman to na nakikita ang injustice na nangyayari.
Yes, thank you.
In fact, in the last hearing, inamin naman ni Secretary Guevara na mayroong human rights violations. Nung last hearing, inamin din ni General Abellade. You know, and the thing is, they're here today to be able to find out. That's the reason why my frustration is, why only 3 when we have more? And your reason that they are afraid to come out, come on, that's a preposterous reason, Attorney Conti.
Your Honor, the psychosocial support that we provide to the victims takes years. It is re-traumatization for them to retell their stories in a public
This
scenario and
committee,
with
Attorney
other
Conti,
policemen,
has
Your Honor.
promised protection for them.
Yes, Your Honor,
This
we
committee
understand.
has promised protection for them, and I am going to lay my life on the line on this.
We thank
That's the
you
reason
for-
why we are now investigating this. Oh, ano man ang mangyari? The thing is, what we are after is this. Meron bang human rights violations? Inamin ng iba. Oo. Okay. Meron bang illegal na nangyari? Yung mga biktima, nais natin, ito lang ba mga matatapang? You know, please tell them.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ngayon lamang, okay, even Secretary Guevara said that is the first time Congress is investigating after so many years. Why? Because kahit na so many years yan, injustice yan eh. Kahit na umabot ng 10 taon yan, injustice pa rin yan. At may remorse pa rin na feeling yung mga biktima. Ang frustration ko lang is this. Bakit hindi nag-a-appeal na natatakot? Aba, hindi na kinakailangan matakot dito. Kung ako, tinatabangan ko yung sarili ko eh. Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
We thank you for the assurance, Your Honor, but again, we allow the victims to process their grief and their healing at their
Go
own
ahead,
pace.
you call the victims then.
And for the next hearing, I think we would be able to produce even more victims from Cebu, Your Honor. So for today, may we have Dalia Cuartero from Bulacan.
Good afternoon po, Your Honor.
Sige po. Pakilakas po yung boses ninyo.
Ako po si Dalia Cuartero. Ako po ang ina ni Jesus Cuartero na pinatay ng pulis Bulacan noong March 2019. Daboy po ang tawag namin sa anak ko. Si Daboy po ay nagtatrabaho bilang HR sa isang kumpanya. Siya po ay mabait na bata, maasikaso at palakaibigan. Ang hanap buhay ko po ay nagluluto ako ng pagkain para sa isang kantin. Saka dinadala ko sa kantin ng 5:30 ng umaga. Kahit may trabaho din si Daboy, naglilinis pa rin siya ng kusina. Malaking tulong po si Daboy sa amin. Si Daboy po, dahil siya din ang nagbibigay ng allowance sa isa niya pang kapatid. Palasimba po si Daboy. Wala pong pinipiling kaibigan at handa siyang tumulong sa kapwa niya. Kung minsan, yung mga kaibigan niya sa amin, gustong magtrabaho, walang pambayad sa requirements. Si Daboy po ang nagbibigay ng pera para makapagtrabaho din po sila. Wala po sa anumang drug watch list ang anak ko sa barangay. Ang barangay na po namin mismo ang nagbibigay.
Miss Cuartero,
Yes
ilang
po.
taon po siya pinatay?
26 po.
Ano po akusasyon sa kanya?
Ano po kasi
Siya
siya
po ba drug user, drug dealer? Ano po ang inaccuse sa kanya?
may nahuli daw pong, actually po wala po siyang wala po siya sa drug watch.
Wala.
Wala, yung dalawa lang po
Go
nakasama
ahead.
niya.
Sige po, tuloy po niyo.
Palasimba po si Daboy, walang pinipiling kaibigan at handa siyang tumulong sa kapwa. Kung minsan, yung mga kaibigan po na gustong magtrabaho ay walang pangbayad sa requirements, si Daboy po ang nagbibigay sa kanila ng pera nang makatrabaho din po sila. Wala po sa anumang drug watch list ang anak ko sa aming barangay. Barangay na mismo ang nagsabi, gayon pa man, natukhang pa din si Daboy. Noong March 2019, 2019, 7:30 ng gabi, nagpapaalam ang anak ko na pupunta sa kanyang pinsan na si Jeffrey Haylar sa Lancaster Place Subdivision para makipagbanding sa kanyang mga pinsan. Yun na po ang huling beses ng pagkikita at pag-usap ko kay Daboy. Ayon sa pamangkin kong si Jeffrey, habang sila'y nag-iinuman, ilang beses nagre-ring ang phone ni Daboy. Noong una, hindi niya ito sinagot. Kalaunan, sinagot na rin at umalis. May sasamahan daw itong kaibigan. Hindi na nakauwi si Daboy. Kinabukasan, March 25, 2019, bandang 7:30 ng umaga, may dumating na isang pamilyang kaibigan at hinahanap siya dahil magkasama sila ni Daboy noong gabing magkakasama. Magkasama kaming naghahanap ng pamilya namin. Unang pinuntahan namin, Police Compact 7 Towerville, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. Dahil alam namin laganap ang patayan sa mga panahong ito, natatakot kami na baka madamay siya. Sabi ng mga pulis, wala naman daw silang alam. Pagkatapos nagpunta sa pulis, ay nagpunta kami sa mga orinarya sa Jade Funeral Home, Tala, Caloocan. Nakita ko po ang bangkay ni Daboy kasama ang kaibigan at isa pang lalaking may pangalang Jeffrey Villari. Nalaman na lang namin na napatay daw sila sa isang di umanong bypass operation noong March 25 sa Towerville sa Pangpalay.
Sino po sila? Ilan sila? Sabi niyo sila. Sino po sila? At ilan sila?
3 po.
Long napatay. Sino po sila? Kilala niyo?
Si Haji Lopi, Jeffrey Villari, at si Daboy po.
Oh, magkakasing edad.
Hindi po, matanda yung isa, yung mas bata yata yung isa.
Tuloy po niyo.
Minuyan Frapper San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, nanlaban daw. Nanglaban daw yung 3. Si Daboy mayroon daw may nakuha sa kanya na revolver at shabu. Pagkatapos ng 3 araw ng burol ay may pumunta sa amin na Commission on Human Rights para mag-imbestiga. Subalit walang nangyari sa investigasyon dahil tikom ang bibig ng mga witness. Kami na ang nag-imbestiga kasi ayaw namin na ayaw ng mga pulis. Sabi nga ang mga tao doon, talagang maraming nagaganap na patayan sa Towerville. Ang nalaman namin, nasa police custody na si Daboy at ang yung kaibigan niya. Tapos, dinala doon para tukhangin. Pero yung mismong tauhan ng motel kung saan dinala sila, Daboy, tahimik kahit CCTV, hindi nila makuha ng CHR. Walang nanagot sa nangyaring pagpaslang kay Daboy. Bagkos, tuloy-tuloy lang at dumami pa ang bilang ng mga namamatay. Dahil gira umano kontra droga. Nasa katunayan, gira laban sa mamamayan. Sa mga walang kalaban-laban, parang wala kaming pag-asa para bang ganun na lang kadali kunin ang buhay ng anak ko. Kaya naman lumapit kami sa Rise Up. Nagkaroon ng lakas ng loob kasama ng iba pang naulila sa war on drugs na ito. Umaasa po ako sa pamamagitan ng hearing na ito, magkakaroon ng aksyon at mangyaring malawakang patayan. Sana din po ay sa pamamagitan ng hearing na ito ay masuportahan ang ICC na panagutin si Duterte. Maniniwala po akong nakakatulong sa ICC para makamit ang hustisya para sa anak ko. Salamat po.
Okay, Attorney Conte.
Yes, the next would be Christine Pascual, the mother of a 17-year-old killed in Pangasinan.
Ako po si Christine Pascual po. Anak ko po si Joshua, 17 years old po nung napaslang po ng 2018. Si Joshua po, sa lugar po namin, sikat pong isang gamer na bata po. Wala pong hindi nakakakilala sa kanya. Ngayon po nung biglaan po silang nagkaroon po ng laban sa Baguio, August 15 po. Na may laban po sila. Normal naman po sa akin na may laro yung anak ko dahil yun nga po yung hilig niya. At meron
Pakitaas po yung picture, gusto ko makita.
meron po siyang talagang kakayanan pong kumita. Noong time pong pumunta siya ng Baguio, 3 bata po sila. Hindi pa po ako masyadong gabi po ba't wala pa yung anak ko, kako. Tinanong ko na po yung kasama niya August 17, sabi ko, asan na si Joshua? Balita ko may laban daw po kayo sa Baguio. Ngayon yung bata pong nakaligtas na isa, na kasama niya, ang kwento niya sa akin, kasi nakarating daw po sila ng Baguio. Pagdating po daw nila ng Baguio, hindi naman, naubusan po sila ng pamasahe. Hanggang angkas lang po sila sa truck. Ngayon pag angkas po sa truck, yung mga bata, hanggang dito lang po sa Proserobio, Pangasinan hininto. Yung isang bata po ang sabi, magpahinga muna tayo, siguro nangawit po sa pag-angkas ng truck. Itong 2 bata, kasama po yung anak ko, tuluyan na pong umuwi dahil kagustuhan siguro pong umuwi na. Hanggang hindi na niya po natanaw tong 2 bata. Hanggang nauna na po yung nakaligtas, yun po yung nagkwento sa akin. Hanggang dumating po yung August 17, 18, 19, 20, wala pa rin po kung balita sa anak ko. Dumating na po yung time na nag-alala na po talaga ako dahil yun yung time na uso yung tukang, yung mga namamatay. Sabi ko, Diyos ko, wag naman po. Kasi ang tagal na pong wala siyang online sa Facebook niya eh. Hanggang nagdesisyon na po ako mag-flash alarm ng 21. 20 po ng gabi nag-flash alarm ako. 21, nasa trabaho po ako sa parlor. Dumating po yung pulis ng Pangasinan at saka yung barangay po sa amin. Ang pinagtataan ko po kasi meron ng sulat na nakalagay ang pangalan ng anak ko, tsaka kung sa yung lugar ng anak ko. Andun na po yung talagang, hindi sana po totoo na anak ko yung nakalagay na namatay o ano po. Kasi talagang pagod, nung 1 linggo po akong naghanap sa kanya, pagod na po talaga din ako. Hanggang pumunta po kami ng Pangasinan, hindi ko po siya nakita ng talagang yung oras ng dahil 1 linggo na po siyang hindi ko nakita. Pinakita na lang po sa akin ng pulis, yung pong mismong picture niya. Yun nga po, yung picture niyang alis dilat yung mata niya, maraming dugo ang muka. At umamin naman po yung pulis sa akin na na-encounter niya po yung anak ko, nanlaban, may drugs. Paano po ako hindi naman po ako taga ron. Tsaka yung anak ko hindi taga ron. Lahat po ng ebidensya, inano na nila eh. Wala na po akong tanging may palailiwanag sa kanila. Kumbaga lahat ng mga hindi ako makapaniwalang sinabi nila sa anak ko, sinabi na nila. Nirespeto ko pa nga po yung mga kapulis dun eh. Sabi ko, ganun po ba? Sige po, kukunin ko na lang po yung certification para mailabas ko na yung anak ko kasi miss na miss ko na. Ngayon po, pagdating namin dun, naiuwi ko naman po yung anak ko sa Tarlac. Habang nakaburol po siya, tinignan ko po kung saan ako pwedeng lumapit kasi single mother lang po ako eh. Hindi po ako napagod kahit saan ako pumupunta. Basta lang alam kong makuha ko yung hustisya niya dahil masakit po talaga eh. Una, sabi ko, hindi ko lalabas po sa burol yung anak ko nang hindi na autopsy. Baka dun makakuha ko ng ebidensya. Na-autopsy po siya ng unang-una. Yung autopsy po niya, naramdaman ko yung nag-autopsy sa kanya, walang sympathy emotionally eh. Parang normal lang po, nabaril lang yung anak mo, okay po, ganun. Hanggang may tumawag po sa akin ng human rights. Dalin mo yung anak mo dito sa Manila. I-autopsy natin si Dr. Porto na mag-autopsy sa kanya. Para pong nalagyan po ng yung sarili ko. Gabi po, hindi ko alam saan ako maghanap ng pamasahe para lang madala ko po yung anak ko sa PGH. Kasi yun na lang po yung tanging paraan na may lalaban ko yung autopsy niya eh. Hanggang nalaman ko po kay Dr. Borton, merong hemorrhage, may fracture yung anak ko. Lahat po ng proseso sa kaso, nilakad po namin kahit walang pamasahe, sige lang po, basta yung proseso ng kapulisan po, sinunod namin. Mula Hiyas. Naghihintay po kami ng sagot kasi kumpleto naman po eh. Nagulat na lang po kami, dinismiss po. Bilang ano po, sinubukan pa rin po sa ombudsman. Hintay pa rin po. Proseso, tama naman po yung proseso namin. Sabi ko nga, wala namang ebidensya, may basihan. Kasi yung bata, minor de edad eh. Hanggang dumating po sa ombudsman, ilang araw lang po, dismiss na naman po. Hanggang dumating po yung time na may pag-asa, Supreme Court. Pinakamalaki na po to. Lord, kako, sana kahit man lang dito, bigyan mo kaming pagkakataon. Hirap na rin po kami paanong lumaban. Pagdating po doon ilang araw, dismiss na naman po. Paano po kaming hihiling ng ustisya sa ICC? Sana maramdaman niyo po yung bilang isang ina kami, paano naghirap doon sa mga pinalaki mong bata ng maayos, di ba po? Ang masaklap pa po, pinatay na. Pinaratangan pa ng kung ano-ano. Yun po yung masakit dun eh. Yung may drugs, nanlaban. Paano naman kaming inang nagpalaki doon sa bata? Paano alam namin maayos namin silang pinalaki? Di ba po, nagkamotor yung bata na walang motor. Ni bike, hindi po marunong yung bata. Normal na bata, gustong sumikat. Alam naman po natin siguro yung Dota player, Olympics yan eh. Yun lang po yung hangad niya. Yung maging isang gamer, nagkataon lang po mahirap lang talaga kami. Kaya sabi ko, parang ustisya sa mayaman lang. Ba't sa mahirap parang hindi kami napapansin? Buti na lang po andyan ang Rise Up. Andyan po ang mga UNUPL. Paano po kung wala sila? Ganun na lang po ba yung nangyari sa anak namin? Sa mga mahal namin sa buhay? Handa na rin po kaming mamatay kasi hindi naman birong pinagdaanan nila. Tinorture. Sino pong nanay na magulang ang kayang tanggapin po yung ganun ng dinanas ng anak nyo na alam nyo pinalaki nyo ng maayos. Hanggang ngayon wala pong hilom yung sakit na ginawa nila sa amin. Wala pong ano. Sana natulog ka, okay ka na, hindi po. Sobrang sakit po. Sana sa lahat po na nakakarinig dito, maintindihan nyo po kami kung bakit nandito po kami ngayon sa harapan ninyo. Nagsusumamo. Nabuksan ng puso nyo. Huwag maging negatibo. Isipin din nyo po yung mga pinagdadaanan namin, hindi biro po. Bakit kami lumalaban ng ganito? Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair, in this case, 15-year-old Julius Sebastian, the companion of Joshua Laksamana, remains missing. Julius
Ano pangalan?
Sebastian.
Julius,
Sebastian, Your Honor.
hindi siya napatay. Remains missing lang.
Yes po. From gathering all the stories, parang magkasama po yung dalawang bata.
Saan yung magulang niya?
Nakuha.
No? So, ibig sabihin, itong buhay na ito ay talagang hindi makita kung nasaan.
Yes po. It is similar to the case of Carl Arnaiz and Kulot, na parang magkasama tapos biglang pinaghiwalay. And then si Kulot natagpuan na patay elsewhere. Medyo yun po yung inaabangan ng pamilya, pero habang missing po, actually may pag-asa pa rin silang matatagpuan nila kung sakali. And for the next victim, Jane Lee, who is the wife of someone who was killed in Caloocan, Your Honor.
Ako po si Ami Jane Lee, biyuda ni Michael Lee na pinatay noong March 20, 2017 sa Bagong Silang, Caloocan po ito, kung saan marami ang patayan. Jeepney driver at barker po si Michael. Noong gabi po na yon, nagtatawag siya ng pasahero sa kanto ng Langit Road at Barugo Road sa Barangay 176, Bagong Silang, Caloocan, nang siya ay walang kamuwang-muwang na binaril ng mga lalaking nakariding in tandem. Si Michael ay wala pong kahit anong record sa barangay o kahit saan na gumagamit ng droga, kahit anong koneksyon sa droga, listahan man o huli o imbitasyon ng mga pulis, wala po. Pero sa lugar namin kung saan ilan na ang winala at pinatay sa buong panahon ng di umano'y giyera kontra droga, nang gabing iyon ay nadagdag si Michael sa napakaraming biktima ng EJK. Sa giyera kontra droga na inilunsad ni dating Pangulong Duterte, hindi po nabawasan ang droga. Tao ang nabawasan kasi po pinagpapatay sila. Hindi nga po namin masabing giyera kasi walang kalaban-laban silang pinapatay. Mula 2016 hanggang 2017, bago pinaslang ang mister ko, may nauna ng 5 kakilala ko na pinatay sa lugar namin na modus na riding in tandem at ni-raid ang bahay kung saan doon sila pinagbabaril. May isang beses pa nga na may sumulpot sa lugar namin na nakakover ang mukha, nagtuturo ng mga sinasabi nilang mga adik. Nang mamatay po ang asawa ko, walang investigasyong naganap, ni hindi ko na nakita ang mga pulis na nagsabi noon na mag-update tungkol sa gagawing investigasyon sa pagkamatay niya. At paano pa kami magsasampa ng kaso bukod sa walang mga mukha't pangalan ang kakasuhan namin. Sino sa mga nakakitang binaril ng malapitan sa likod si Michael ang titistigo? Lahat sila natatakot na baka sa susunod na may dumaang riding in tandem, sila naman ang ibubuwal. Ako po at iba pang mga asawa, magulang at anak na mga biktima na tinaguri ang war on drugs, ay ganito ang nararamdamang kawalan ng pag-asa. Kami po sa Rise Up at sa iba pang inulila ng nationwide massacre na pinangalan ng War Against Drug ay naniniwalang kay Duterte dudulo ang pananagutan. May programa sa droga ang bawat presidente. Opo, pero sa kanya lang libo-libo ang namatay. Bukod sa mga pag-amin mula sa bibig niya mismo na magiging at naging madugo ang kanyang giyera, siya ang naglatag ng sistema kung saan halos ang tanging solusyon sa kriminalidad at droga ay ang pagpatay sa mga pinaratangan at pinagsuspetsahan, at kung saan ang mga pumatay ay madaling tumakbo at magtago sa dilim o sa likod ng uniforme, mga institusyon ng law enforcement at sa mga pangako niya at pagpapalakas ng loob sa mga tagapagpatupad ng drug war. Nasagot ko kayo. Sa totoo lang, natatakot po ako sa tuwing makakakita ako ng pulis na may bitbit ng baril dahil sa baril namatay ang asawa ko at laging may pangamba na baka maulit ito. Nabalitaan ko na may mga pagpatay pa ring nangyayari sa ngayon. Sana po matigil na ito. Ayaw po naming maulit ang nangyaring malawakan at sistematikong pagpatay ng mga inosente. Inosente po ang mga mahal namin sa buhay. Hindi lang po dahil sa sinasabi ng batas na innocent until proven guilty at ang lahat daw ay dapat bigyan ng due process. Pero nabiktima sila ng polisiya ni Duterte na war on drugs. Walang nanagot ni isa man sa mga pumatay, lalo na ang utak ng patayang ito. Walang hustisya, naway sa pamamagitan ng hearing na ito. Magbunga ito ng masusing investigasyon at sa kalaunay mabigyan kami ng iba pang mga kaanak ng hustisya nang sa ganun ay hindi mabaliwala ang libo-libong pinaslang ng war on drugs. Narinig ko po na hindi po magko-cooperate ang committee sa ICC investigation. Sige lang po. Pero nais ko pong sabihin na kami pong mga pamilya, doon kami nakasandig pa rin at nabubuhayan ng pag-asa sa ICC o International Investigation. May kumpiyansa kami na hindi nila sasantuhin ng isang dating presidente. Hindi sila matatakot na imbestigahan ng isang nakaupong senador. Ang pananagutan para sa patayan ay hindi dapat nakatuon lang sa kung sinong mga bumaril doon sa mga nag-utos, kundi doon sa mga nag-utos. Lumalapit po ako sa ngalan ng libo-libong biktima ng walang kakayanan, kamalayan o lakas ng loob. Bakit maraming namatay sa war on drugs ni Duterte pero hindi man lang nagkaroon ng masusing investigasyon noon? Bakit ngayon lang po? Bakit ang nakakasuhan ay mabababang pulis lang? Bakit walang sumilip sa polisiya? Sana po matulungan kami at matulungan din po kami ng kamarang ito. Maraming salamat po. Mabanggit ko lang din po na marami po kaming mga pamilya ng biktima na kasamahan ko na nasa labas mula po sa iba't ibang lugar. Meron pong North Caloocan, Barangay Bagong Silangan, Tondo, Nabotas at Bulacan.
Maraming
po.
salamat, Miss Jane Lee. Alam niyo, unang-una, nabanggit niyo na parang hindi kami nakikipag-unay sa ICC. Wala po kaming pakialam sa ICC. Walang pakialam ang ICC sa committee ito. Hindi kami kontrolado ng ICC. Independent po itong ating ginagawa dito. At yung ICC, pwede mag-investigate on their own. Pero ayaw namin na gamitin ng ICC itong committee ito para sa kanilang sariling interes. Yun lang gusto kong sabihin sa inyo. Itong committee ito, we are going to investigate domestically lahat ng mga pangyayaring ito. Yun ang gusto kong sabihin sa inyo. At pangalawa, binanggit nyo may nag-rally sa labas. Hindi na po kinakailangan mag-rally sa labas. Wala mangyayari sa rally. Pumunta dito. Maupo dyan sa likod ninyo. Hindi naman sila magulo, di ba? Hindi naman sila nanggugulo, correct?
Opo.
Pumunta rito. Papasukin sila ni Colonel Kunan nandito. Papasukin sila rito. Maupo sila dyan. Para makita po ng taong bayan yan. Ba't kinakailangan mag-rally? Hindi na po kinakailangan mag-rally ngayon. Dito sila maupo sapagkat dito po merong pupuntahan ang investigasyong ito. Yung rally nyo, walang pupuntahan yan. Nakita nyo, nag-rally na kayo dati. May napuntahan ba? 7 taon, 8 taon na kayo nag-rally. May napuntahan ba? Wala. Dito, titikin ko sa inyo, may pupuntahan po ito. Kaya, maupo kayo dyan para makita po ng lahat.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the chairman is right, no? Yung ICC, wala namang control over us dahil kami legislative ang aming function. But the government can use the minutes of this hearing for the purpose of coordinating with the ICC if they want to coordinate. It is not for us to tell the executive department what to do. But the fact that we are investigating this issue, yung mga tinuturan po ninyo dito, no, ay maaaring gamitin po doon sa ICC. It is a public documents, no, yung inyo pong mga sinasabi dito. At tama po si Chairman, kung magrarally sila sa labas, hindi po formal yon, magiging informal na mga salita yon. But once they enter here in this committee, all their words, all their manifestation will be part of a public documents. Kaya nakikita ko yung frustration ni Chairman na bakit tatatlo lang kayo nandito because inopen na nga po natin yung investigasyon para po sa lahat. And this is your right avenue for you to speak. All those victims, kung 6,300 dyan, di pumunta kayo dito, magsalita kayo dito para if ever that the ICC wanted the documents pertaining to your allegation, they can get it from here. Di ba? At yun po yung may tutulong natin doon sa mga biktima na itong tinatawag po ninyo na Dragon War, no? At nakahanda po ang kongresong ito para tulungan yung mga tunay na biktima.
Nakita nyo naman, pinayagan namin kayo magsalita, di ba? On the record po ito. Nakikita ng taong bayan to. Okay? Kaya kung pakiusap ko, magkaroon tayo ng next hearing, pupuntahin nyo rito. Huwag na kayo mag-rally sa labas. Punta kayo rito. Oo. At aking pong iano sa inyo, doon sa labas wala kayong proteksyon eh. Dito meron eh. O, inutusan ko na, sikan na kunanan, nabigyan kayo ng proteksyon dito. Pero doon sa labas, meron ba proteksyon sa labas? Wala. You see, dito meron. Tama ho ba ako?
Salamat
nyo.
po, Mr. Chair. Sa susunod po, isasama po namin
Yes.
sila.
Tignan nyo, pinakinggan namin kayo. O, nagsalita kayo. Hindi naman kayo pinigilan. Tama? Oo. Ayun po, gusto kong tawagin si Attorney Adel Jokno na magsalita po tungkol dito.
Chairman,
Bago po, Attorney Jokno, ito munang ating kaibigan si Congressman Carap.
thank you, Mr. Interjection. First of all, Mr. Chairman, hindi po si Kunanan. si Saa po natin, Sir Dito.
Okay.
But anyway, Mr. Chairman, this is just hearing from the statement of Jin Lee. Ako medyo, alam mo kasi, we have a constitutional mandate in Congress to investigate in the aid of legislation. Now, tama si Chairman, we have nothing to do with ICC, and ICC has nothing to do with the House investigation. Ngayon, after this investigation, whatever will be the committee report that will be adopted in the plenary, that will be our recommendation. If somebody should face the consequences based on the investigation, so be it, wala kami pong pakialam. Kung sino man, right after this investigation and adopted in the plenary through the committee report, bahala po, wala kaming pakialam. Now we'll just submit this committee report to the proper agencies. And it's up to the executive department, to the proper agencies, whether to file a case against all those person supposedly magiging liable in this investigation. And it's up also to ICC to request such committee report, not in this House, not in this committee, but to the agency in which we will recommend. Kung ombudsman yan, so be it. Kung office of the president, so be it. But not us. Because we are conducting an inquiry in aid of legislation. Para klaro lang po. No? Sa lahat. Well, in fact, Mr. Chairman, kung inimbitahan natin lahat ng mga biktima, siguro naman po, dapat din lang, imbitahan din natin yung mga sinasabi ni General Bayalde, Lasiring, yung mga naka-collateral damage, yung mga pulis na namatay din dahil sa operasyon, pati na yung mga pulis na until na wala ding justisya. And well, in fact, I need that report, that document being asked a while ago. Kasi gusto ko makita kung sino mga pulis na namatay din. Collateral ba yan, part ng operation, or being tagged also as part of the drug syndicate in this country, not only during Duterte's time, even before Duterte. Kasi yung mga memorandum circular dito na binasa ko, well, in fact, dated 2015 pa. Kaya mamaya tatanungin ko pa si ES tungkol dyan. Ang sinasabi ko lang po is, ma'am, sorry po, hindi po kami covered by ICC. It's the government of the Republic of the Philippines through the executive branch. Kami po gagawa lang ng committee report, then if it will be adopted in the plenary, yun. Bahala po ng ICC. Gumawa ng sarili ng investigation at humingi po ng mga dokumento, not from us, but from the proper agencies. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman. Kaya nga po, hinihiling ko lang na huwag niyong babanggitin ng ICC dito. Huwag niyong banggitin. Huwag. Okay? Sapagkat wala kaming pakialam sa ICC. At hindi namin nahayaan na pakialaman kami ng ICC. We are a sovereign country here. Okay? Hindi ko isusuko ang pagkasoberano ng House na ito sa ICC. Hindi po bansa ang ICC. Alright? Investigative body ng UN ang ICC. Tayo po ay bansa. Meron tayong demokrasya. Palagay ko, ako'y kinakampihan ng mga kapulisan dito pag pinag-uusapan yan. Alright, pero ito sabihin ko sa inyo, ito ang Human Rights Committee at papakinggan namin kayo dito. At maririnig po ito ng taong bayan. Ito, gusto kong sabihin sa ating kapulisan, we received a letter from the CBCP sapagkat sinasabi ng ating kapulisan na nag-submit sila ng report sa CBCP. O ito ang nakalagay. Dear Sir, Madam, pero put on record po ito ha. On behalf of Monsignor Bernardo Arpantin, CBCP Secretary General, we acknowledge receipt of the letter from the Committee on Human Rights addressed to His Excellency, Most Reverend Pablo Virgilio David, CBCP President. Please be informed that the CBCP does not have a copy of the report submitted by former Philippine National Police General Rodolfo Mendoza related to reward system during the war on drugs of former President Duterte administration. We kindly recommend that you inquire and request directly to the Philippine National Police headquarters in Camp Crame, Quezon City of the aforementioned document. So gusto ko na pong sabihin sa inyo to, General Bakay, sa mga bagay na ito. And please submit to us the document that the Philippine National has been saying that they have submitted to the CBCP. Okay? So Attorney Jokno, go ahead.
The Honorable Chair and members of the Committee on Human Rights, there has been much debate about how many have been killed. Naririnig po niyo ako? Kaya po. There has been much debate about how many persons have been killed in the war on drugs during the last administration. Some of the estimates have been as low as 12,000, while the NGOs have put the figure at about 30,000. But there is one number that is unassailable because this comes from the Office of the President and was cited in an extended resolution of the Supreme Court. And that number is 20,322 persons killed in the war on drugs.
Who is the president you're referring to?
The former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Your Honor. That number of 20,322 persons killed is only from the period of July 1, 2016 up to November 27, 2017. This is found in the 2017 year-end accomplishment report of the Office of the President and cited in the resolution of the Supreme Court of April 3, 2018. Hindi lang po yun, of the 20,322 who were killed, according to the OP report, 3,967 Filipinos were killed by police in police operations.
Po, 3,000?
3,967.
Between what year?
July 1, 2016, Mr. Chair, up to November 27, 2017.
So ano po yung 6,000 na sinasabi na nito?
I do not know where that figure comes from, Your Honor. Then there is another figure, 16,355 killed by riding in tandem and other unknown persons during the same period from July 1, 2016, this time until September 27, 2017.
Okay, ilan po yung
16,355, Mr. Chair.
are these people killed?
Yes, Your Honor.
From what date?
From July 1, 2016 up to September 27, 2017. I have a copy, Your Honor, of the resolution of the court. I can submit it to the committee secretary. Now, I would like to emphasize, Your Honor, please, that the 20,322 who were killed were not sentenced by any judge of our country. They were sentenced.
Who are these 3,000 that were killed? Kasama ba ito 16,000?
Yung 3,967, Mr. Chair, yan yung napatay during police operations according to the Office of the President's report. Yun naman pong 16,355 refer to deaths under investigation. These are referring to those who were killed by riding in tandem and other unknown killers.
Not necessarily police operations.
Not necessarily police operations. Now, all of these 20,322 persons who were killed were not sentenced by any court. They were sentenced by armed men, 3,967 of them belonging to the Philippine National Police, and another 16,355 by unknown people who, many of whom continue to roam our country today.
No investigation that had been done by the Philippine National Police.
Sa pagkaalam ko po, of the 16,355 killed by riding in tandem and other similar killers, only 2 men were caught, arrested, and charged. But when nung po sila hinuli, napag-alaman na pulis din pala sila.
Saan niyo po nakuha yung data?
That is data available in the news. This refers, Your Honor, to the killing of a crime watch person in Mindoro, if I remember right, around 2016 or 2017. It so happened na nung binaril siya ng 2 riding in tandem, 2 tao nasa isang motorsiklo, hinabol sila ng pulis at nahuli, pero napag-alaman nga na sila rin pala ay pulis. Now, I would like to emphasize, if Your Honor, please, that all of these people who were killed, that would fill up the SM Mall of Asia Arena. And that is only for the period of 2016 July up to 2017 November. Now, they were not sentenced by a court, they were sentenced by armed men. And up to now, as we know from the testimony of the DOJ Secretary during the last hearing of this honorable committee, there have only been 52 cases that they have investigated out of 20,322 deaths. And that is why we are concerned. I'm speaking here on behalf of the Free Legal Assistance Group, which I chair, one of the oldest and largest human rights organizations in the country, that there has been no accountability insofar as the war on drugs is concerned.
Tony Jokno, let me make it clear, no, ha? I mean, you are a member of a political party, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I will never question your expertise in law, but I would like to question your motivation on this. Is there any politics in this?
No, Your Honor. I'm appearing here in summons because I was summoned by the honorable committee to appear as
Gusto
a
ko lang
resource
po
person
put on
of,
record na there's no politics involved in this.
Yes, Your Honor.